Hey family, so I have some dreams that I want to share with you guys today. One of the dreams is about I actually recently shared this dream with you guys already, and it was the dream where I saw my ex, and the same video that I was sharing about the sword, the golden sword and everything. But there's a part in there that I think I might have misinterpreted, or might have more than one meaning, rather. So, the part where I was saying that I was sitting there looking at her in between the doorway, and then the confetti started to fall, and then I heard Rosicrucian family. So, and I was saying that I started to look into that, but it didn't really make any sense to me, and it was a whole bunch of like occult witchcraft stuff that it was talking about, and so I didn't want to go too much further into it without knowing what I was getting into. So this morning or earlier today, that popped in my head again, and I was looking up stuff about Hillary. Actually, I was looking up things about some of the dreams I had last night, which were about like politicians and stuff. So I was looking up things about that, and then I came across some video about Hillary Clinton, and then that whole confetti scene that I saw in the dream popped in my head, and it made me think about what happens at the end of elections. Whenever somebody wins an election, they drop confetti. So it made me think, I'm wondering, was God showing me that the confetti falling at the end of an election, at the end of the coming election, and the reason why I heard Rosicrucian family right after I saw that, or while I was seeing that, has to do with the whole. So if you don't know about Rosicrucians go back to, has to do with like the whole elite, Illuminati, all that type of stuff. And most people believe that the higher ups, the politicians, presidents, government, all those officials and stuff like that, are part of the elite society, which would be in the same category as like the Rosicrucians. So what I'm getting from this is that the Lord was telling me that the Rosicrucian family, or a member of the Rosicrucian family, is going to win the election, and that's why I saw the confetti falling. So I started looking up stuff that has to do with Hillary Clinton and the Rosicrucian family, and there's like all types of stuff that talks about her being part of the occult society, and the elitists, and having to do with Illuminati stuff, and things like that, and being part of secret societies, and things like that. So even though she's a woman, she has connections with that. So I feel like that's what, and the reason why I say that is just because most of those secret societies only allow men to be part of the secret societies, but their wives are connected to the secret society through them, and Hillary Clinton has connections through many people in these secret societies. So I believe that the Lord was showing me that Hillary Clinton is going to be the one to win the election. So that's my thoughts on that. So these dreams that I had from last night. So I saw a glimpse of a bolt, or actually no, let me jump back. I'm skipping forward a little bit. I had a vision where I saw a glimpse of the grasslands or greens, in the safari blowing in the wind. So, and I had just been talking to my son, like we were doing a little Bible study, and I was just going over like the basics about Christianity and why we need Jesus, and you know, things about sin, how sin causes death, and that's why Jesus died on the cross for us, so that we could be free from those sins and from that death and have life in him. And you know, just on and on and on and on. And he had, a few minutes or so after that, he had asked me what a valley was. So I explained to him what a valley was, and then we were praying, and after we had prayed, I had started falling asleep, and I had that vision where I saw the glimpse of the grasslands, or the grains of grass blowing in the wind in like a safari. And so I looked up a verse about grasslands, and I came across the verse Psalm 65:12, which says, "The grasslands of the wilderness overflow. The hills are clothed with gladness." And then the next verse after that includes something about the valleys, but I didn't write down the next verse, so I'll include that in the description. But I immediately knew, I felt that through the Spirit, that Jesus was telling me that he was listening to our conversation about him and about the Word, and he was glad, he was very joyful and happy and overfilled with gladness because of our conversation, because of us talking about him and me teaching him about the Bible and about the Word and about God. So that just goes to show you, the Lord's always listening. He's always listening, and he's very happy when we talk about him. So the next vision I saw this quick vision of a flash, a bolt of lightning, real quick, boom. And so I know that means something, and it also made me think of the verse where Jesus says he saw Satan or Lucifer falling from the sky as lightning. Made me think about that. So I had this other dream. The next dream, I was sitting at a lunch table, and I was talking with two ladies that were sitting across from me, and I was putting together like this donut or bagel, and it had icing on it, and I knew it had bacon on it, and I was like folding the top edges in on top of it to put everything together. So I had told these ladies that I had saw a cooking show, and I saw something that had to do with bacon, and I was interested in trying it, but I couldn't remember what it was that I saw. So one of the ladies says an apple, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what, like, I remember that's what it was. It was an apple. It was a baked apple with bacon, and I wanted to try making that. And we started talking about baking and cooking, and then I was thinking about cooking this baked apple with bacon at my mom's house or at my own house for everybody. And so that's relevant, and I'll pull that in after I tell you about the next dream. So the next dream, I saw George Bush, and George Bush was sitting at a table talking with some other guys, some other politician, and they were going back and forth, and they were arguing about how George Bush was saying that he raised more money than the other guy did for whatever function that they were raising this money for. And he was saying that he raised $900 and the other guy only raised, I forget how much he said. It might have been 500 or 700, something like that. And then the next scene, I see him standing on a stage, and I knew he was in Spain, and he was doing a speech in Spain, and but him and everybody there, they were wearing pilgrim clothes, like the same type of clothing you would see in like the pictures of the pilgrims. And he was standing up, and he says, before I start, let me take off these shoes. And as he says, let me take off these shoes, everybody says it at the same time with him. Take off those shoes. So I don't know what that means, but he was saying, before I get started, let me take off these shoes. And like he started to take his shoes off, and then the scene changed again. So the next scene, it was a news report, and in the news report, the news reporter was saying that there was a man that died at a store, and the store looked like Wawa or something like that, like a convenience store. And after they were saying after the guy died, these a white work truck and a SUV showed up at the building, and at the building, or they were saying that they were going to install a new security system, but they were saying that it was suspicious activity, and to be aware of it, to be wary of it. And then they were saying that this had happened at more than one place, it happened more than one time. Like, so whenever these people would die, these security people that they were saying were like government people or something like that, would show up at the building, at the place where the person had worked at, and then they were saying that they were installing this new security system, and it was like suspicious. So I don't know what that has to do with. I mean, I feel like it's something that might be currently happening or is going to happen. So I guess keep an eye out for that. But what I was saying about the whole bacon thing, the bacon dream, when I was looking up the stuff about the Rosicrucians, something popped up with that having to do with bacon. So apparently, I forget the guy's first name. Maybe it was Arthur Bacon or something like that. I don't know. Somebody Bacon that they ended up naming after him another one of those secret societies, and it was called being a Baconian or something like that. And apparently he's the one that started the whole Rosicrucian thing, or he has a part of the Rosicrucian thing. So it all ties together, and I think that might have to do with why I was dreaming about bacon. But I mean, that it could also mean something else. I'm not sure, but I just thought it was interesting that when I was looking up stuff about the Rosicrucians and Hillary Clinton and all this secret politician stuff that's going on right now, that whole bacon thing popped up. But while I'm on that subject, I had a dream a while back that I never shared, but it seems to be relevant now. So I had this dream that I was seeing in the Oval Office, and it was like somewhere in the White House, some room in the White House. I believe it was the Oval Office. And there were a bunch of politicians and government officials in this room, and they were mostly men. And then I saw Beyonce, and then Beyonce said that she was going to go into this other room. And then I knew that in this other room that was right outside of the room they were in, it was a TV show, like a morning TV show, like a daytime TV show. And apparently there was like a big audience out there, and they were waiting for her to come out. So she said that she was going to go out. So I knew that she went out into the TV show, and she was like playing the piano and dancing and all this other stuff. So then she came back in, and she says to one of the politician guys, we did it. And I knew that whatever she was saying they did, that she was being a distraction to distract the people, the audience, from whatever the politicians were doing. And then this was a while back, but now recently, within the last few months, I see that. I see that that's actually really happening. And you can see how Beyonce has become a name, or a symbol of distraction, especially with the whole Black Lives Matter movement that she was supposedly part of, and like just all the stuff that's going on with that. And so you can see, like, she's working with these politicians, and they're using her because she's a tool, she's a puppet to be used for them to take the eye off of the things that they're really doing. So the public is like, oh, look what Beyonce doing. Look what Beyonce's doing. She came out with this new song, this new video that's super satanic, but I don't even understand it. And meanwhile, they're doing all this other stuff, taking our rights away and causing civil wars and, all that stuff. So guys, just keep an eye on what's going on, in our world right now, in our government. They really can't be trusted. I hate to say that, but it is what it is. And the Lord is definitely opening my eyes to a lot of things that are going on behind doors. So, with that said, God bless you guys. Talk with you soon.